Hello, friends. Welcome. I'm so glad you guys are all here today. And I am going to be making something delicious that you'll actually be able to enjoy this weekend. And you can make it for your friends and family. And what I'm doing right now, I'm going to show you guys how I dress up my refried beans. Like, this is delicious. So what I did was I just finished cooking 8 strips of bacon that I cut up, and this isn't very healthy, I know, but it's delicious. So I just finished cooking the 8 strips of bacon cut up, and this bacon was really lean, so it didn't really give me that much bacon fat that I kind of wanted. So I actually did add a little bit of that bacon up, okay, that you can get at the store to add more flavor. So I have my bacon grease in here, and I'm gonna leave it in there. I know it's so bad, but it's so good. And to that, I'm going to add 2 cans of refried beans. And I'm just using the traditional, just popping. I'm just using the cans of the traditional, because you know there's like fat-free, and I guess maybe you could get fat-free because you got fat in here if you wanted to cut your calories a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and add these 2 cans. And I'll tell you guys, these beans are delicious as a dip, but they're also delicious as a side dish if you're making enchiladas or anything like that. So it's really, really good. Okay, so I'm now just going to mix up those beans into that bacon grease, and that's just going to take on that flavor. And then we're going to add a half a teaspoon of cumin, okay? So just a half a teaspoon. I'm just going to sprinkle that on top of these beans. Okay, so just a half a teaspoon of cumin. And then I'm going to mix that in a little bit. Just kind of smear it around in here. And then to that, we're going to add some half and half, okay? So I'm just using the half and half to thin it out. So I'm going to add a bunch of cheese too. So I can't tell you exactly how much half and half. But again, you can add as much half and half as you want to the consistency that you're looking for, okay? And then I'm going to add 1 can of diced green chilies. And again, if you were halving this recipe, you could do 1 can of beans and 1 can of diced green chilies. And you want to make sure that you go ahead and dump it in, juice and all, okay? And then we're going to add 1 more can of diced green chilies. And this is just going to spice them up and make them taste like you made them from scratch. And you know what? You didn't have to soak your beans. You didn't have to leave it all night cooking and worrying about it and all that kind of stuff. No, 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 honey. These are going to taste so good, and people are going to think that you slaved over a hot stove. And all it was a little hot pot, and it was done in no time. But no, this is a delicious bean dip. Like I said, if you just want to serve it as that, or as a side dish to your meal for the night, or if you're like Renee and she loves, loves, loves bean burritos, okay? She could eat them probably every day. But if you wanted to use these for bean burritos, what you could do is, if you have a gas stove, then you could just, burn your tortillas over the flame. Or if you have an electric stove, then you could just heat your tortillas up on a griddle and then just put these in there. And Renee would be adding extra cheese. I would not, but she would. And then just roll it up and voila, you have a bean burrito. So these are very versatile. You can make up a pot, have it in the fridge. The kids come home from school. they can make their own bean burritos, you know, or they can just get a plate with some chips, which is what I'm going to do today, and have it, okay? So now I'm adding 2 cups of Monterey Jack cheese to this, and I'm going to stir that in. And then we're going to add some cheddar cheese as well, because we want these beans nice and cheesy. Okay, now see how it's thickening up with the cheese added? So I can tell you right now, I will end up adding a little more half and half. But first, let me go ahead and add my cheddar cheese. And I'm just using mild cheddar cheese. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. It's Friday, the beginning of the weekend. You still have time probably to run out and grab this stuff, and you can make it tonight for, you know, if you're just hanging out instead of eating popcorn. You can have dip and tortilla chips. It'll be so good. Okay, I'm going to add a little more of the half and half just to thin them out a little bit. More of what I want. And these look delicious. Now, if you guys like really spicy things, if you want to, instead of the diced green chilies, you could use diced jalapenos. So whatever you like, you do it. And the only thing I would tell you is that bacon grease does make all the difference in flavor. It adds so much. It's like adding butter to something, you know? Butter makes everything taste better. Okay, so I think that looks really good. So now I'm just going to kind of let this cheese melt, because some of it has, but not all of it. And then we're just going to serve it up with some chips. And I'll tell you guys, I was at the store and I purchased these tortilla chips, okay? Never bought them before. But I thought, oh, this looks good, cafe style. They got to be good, right? Well, I had to get some salsa. And so I saw that, I think it was Pace that actually had a restaurant style salsa in a jar. Well, I've bought that refrigerated salsa. I bought salsa in a jar. And I'm sorry, nothing even comes close to what I get at Casa Gamino, because they have the best salsa. Whoa. So anyway, I bought that jar of salsa. Oh my word, you guys. These chips with that Pace, I'm pretty sure it was Pace, restaurant style salsa. I don't even need to go to Casa Gamino. I can have this at home, and it was delicious. I mean, it was so, so good. So that's kind of what my dinner was last night, chips and salsa. But it was so, so good. Okay, look at that. So you see how thick those are. Again, if you want them, look at that cheese. Look at that. If you want to thin it out, you could just add more half and half, okay? But I think I'm happy with, well, it is kind of thick, huh? Yeah, that's fine. We'll leave it. Okay, so now we're going to get us some happy little tortilla chips here to put on our plate so that we can have some of these awesome refried beans. And I'm going to turn this down a little bit. And there we go. Look at that cheese, you guys. Okay, that's what I'm telling you. These things are money. If you love cheese, you're going to love these. And that cumin just gives it just a little hint of spice, as well as the chilies. So there you go, your refried beans, and several different ways that you could use it. Also, if you were doing this for, say, a party or a camping trip or whatever, put it in a crock pot and then just leave it on low. And then that way, you know, it stays hot as your guests are being served. Or if you have a buffet table of, you know, like enchiladas and Spanish rice or whatever, put this in a crock pot on the table to keep it warm. And, you know, the holidays are coming up. We're all going to be entertaining. This is something wonderful that you can add to your holiday table. So I love you guys, and you guys go have yourselves a blessed weekend, and I'll see y'all real soon. I love you guys.